In the headlines, troops of Operation Hadinkai hands over 2 rescued Chibok girls, 2 children to Borno government. President Buhari departs Abuja for Commonwealth meeting in Rwanda. And away from Nigeria, at least 920 killed in Afghanistan earthquake. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. Beginning with security matters, the Nigerian Army says it has rescued 2 Chibok girls during its operations in Bama and Goza local government areas of Borno State. The theater commander of the Operation Hadinkai, Major General Christopher Musa, who disclosed this in its recent operations update, said that the 2 Chibok girls were rescued in 2 separate operations. Musa, who stated that 57,000 Boko Haram terrorists have surrendered and are undergoing rehabilitation and investigation, urged communities not to trade with terrorists.
What is being done now is to ensure that they are safe and secured, while the other ones are encouraged to surrender. Now, for those ones who are still in the bushes, what we are telling them is that they still have the opportunity to come out. They can see, since the other ones have surrendered, nothing has happened to them. They are being treated nicely, treated humanely. And so they have that freedom. Let them not listen to their commanders. That if you trade with them, they are a bunch of criminals. They have no respect for human life. We have seen what they've done to the scrap metal people, how they just kill them, all because they were doing trading and because they were interacting with them. So people should avoid them. We have troops. We want to ensure that farmers go back to their farms, be able to farm very well. Last year, the harvest was good. We want this year the harvest to be better.
One of the operations that were conducted in that general area actually displaced most of the terrorists in that general area. And Hawa Joseph was one of the people that the troops found and brought back to Bama. From there, she was taken to the hospital, checked, and since then she has been diagnosed and been rehabilitated. Secondly is Mary Dauda, who was rescued on the 14th of July. She was rescued around the general area of Mboshe. That's in the 26th Task Force Brigade area in Goza general area. Troops on patrol also during Operation Desert Sanity encountered, after clearing some of the areas, they met her and rescued her with her baby and brought her to Goza for onward movement to this general area.
In a similar vein, President Muhammadu Buhari has insisted that the 51 or more victims of the Kaduna-Abuja train attack who are still in captivity must be brought home alive. The kidnappers had demanded for the release of their own children, and despite governments acceding to the demand, only 11 of the victims were released. However, the president has approved that government will continue its 2-lane kinetic and non-kinetic approach to secure the passengers' safe release. President Buhari welcomed the return of the recently released passengers to their families and loved ones. Security operatives have called on local communities to put measures in place in order to identify those feeding bandits with the information on their targets. Kaduna State Police Commissioner CP Yekini Ayoku gave the advice after Sunday's attack by terrorists on churches in Kajuru that led to the death of 3 persons. The report.
At least 3 persons have been confirmed killed and scores abducted during the attack. The latest attack is one of the many incidents faced by communities in Kajuru, which is a reflection of the sorry state of security in Kaduna. An eyewitness, Bashir Usman, who recounts the incident, says the terrorists attacked the churches after unleashing terror in nearby communities.
So when they came, they met some people in the church. They decided to get into the church, pack some of them, gather them in a particular place, then move to another village again, which is the Robo 2. Then did likewise. They moved from Robo 5 to Robo 1. They were doing the same thing. So they came on bike, and there were a lot of them on bike that came to that particular place. And to those that tried to repel the attacks, most especially the men, they got killed.
Government and security officials have visited the area to assess the situation. They described the attack as a threat to security and emphasized the need to identify those who supplied the bandits with information.
People can no longer go to the farm and farm. If you're in the farm, they will come and take you away. If you're in the home, you're never safe. If you're in the farm, you're never safe. Even on the road, you're never safe.
At least 5 communities in Kajuru have been sacked. The situation is becoming a humanitarian crisis as farmers no longer have access to their farms.
It is our desire again that we will be able to identify elements who are collaborating with the bandit, who are playing one role or the other.
The communities are now looking up to government for protection as the weapons of the local vigilantes cannot match that of the terrorists.
The representatives of all the communities here too, I want to advise you that you work on the enemies within. The collaborators, the people that supply these bandits, these terrorists with information, with their supply chains. Some people buy recharge card for them.
Sunday's incident brings the number of those killed in the month of June alone to at least 35, while scores of farmers and worshippers have been taken hostages. The terrorists are now demanding 100 million naira from the communities for the release of the hostages.
The acting governor of Kaduna State, Hadiza Balarabe, has charged the first batch of the state's intending pilgrims to Saudi Arabia to be good ambassadors of the state and the country. The acting governor, while speaking at the farewell visit to the intending pilgrims before their airlift at the Mando Hajj transit camp on Tuesday, appealed to them to pray for Kaduna State and the country. The report.
Dr. Hadiza Balarabe charged the intending pilgrims to conduct themselves in a manner that is worthy of emulation by other pilgrims, adding that such behavior will bring honor to Kaduna State and Nigeria.
Our message to them is we want them to be good ambassadors of not only Kaduna State but Nigeria as a whole. They should conduct themselves in a manner that is worthy of emulation by each and every pilgrim that would be there in the Holy Land. And we also urge them to make out the time, since it is a time for prayer and a time for reflection, that they should make out the time to pray for the country, pray for Kaduna State, pray for our leaders.
In his remarks, the Executive Secretary of the Kaduna State Pilgrims Welfare Agency, Dr. Yusuf Yakubu, commended the state government for taking measures to ensure a hitch-free exercise. Lami Sadiq for Trust TV News, Kaduna.
President Muhammadu Buhari will depart Abuja Wednesday, June 22nd for Kigali, Rwanda, to attend the 26th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting being held from June 20th to 26th of 2022. At the meeting, the president will join other leaders to participate in discussions focused on the progress and prosperity of the more than 2 billion people living in the 54 independent countries in Africa, Asia, the Americas, Europe, the Pacific that make up the Commonwealth. The theme for the meeting 2022 is delivering a common future, connecting, innovating, transforming. The heads of government are expected to reaffirm their commitment to upholding the Commonwealth Charter, which focuses on democracy, human rights, the rule of law, as well as economic opportunities and sustainable development. Buhari will attend the official opening ceremony on June 24th, followed by high-level meetings of heads of state and government on Friday 24th and Saturday 25th June, according to a statement by his spokesman, Femi Adesina. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has forwarded the names of 7 ministerial nominees to the Senate for screening and confirmation. Buhari's letter was read on the floor of the Senate on Tuesday by the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, at the start of plenary. The report.
Following the resignation of some cabinet ministers ahead of the 2023 general election, President Muhammadu Buhari this Tuesday forwarded names of nominees to fill the vacuum. The nominees are to replace ministers in his cabinet who had resigned to contest the presidential primaries of the All Progressive Congress, as well as other offices.
I have the honor to forward the underlisted ministerial nominees for confirmation by the Senate. 1. Henry Ikechukwu Iko, Abia State. 2. Umana Okon Umana, Akwa Ibom State. 3. Ekuma Nkama Joseph Nkama, Ebonyi State. 4. Goodluck Nana Opia, Imo State. 5. Umar Ibrahim Eliakub, Kano State. 6. Ademola Adewole Adegorie, Ondo State. And 7. Odum Udi, River State. Copies of their curriculum vitae are attached herewith. It is my hope that this exercise will receive the usual expeditious consideration of the distinguished members of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Please accept, Mr. Senate President, the assurances of my highest regards. Signed, yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari.
Some of the cabinet ministers who resigned for the purpose of contesting the presidential primaries include Godswill Akpabio, Rotimi Amechi, Ogbonnaya Onu, and Chukwuemeka Nwajuba.
Now, earlier on, I spoke with Jide Ojo, a public affairs analyst, in a phone interview to get his reaction on this.
This is the issue of, due diligence and screening is important because in times past we've seen how ministers appointed at the end of the day, scandalous issues, arise from the issue of their qualification. We've had people who have not even served, done their NYSC and all that. If you look at that, don't you think that that has an implication on their performance eventually?
Definitely it will do, but more so that, if the due process is not short-circuited, I think there won't be issues, there won't be any scandal. I think the problem we have had over time is lack of due diligence. For instance, when the Ibrahim Magu was nominated, before you nominate somebody, you are supposed to have security reports on that person. Situations where you don't have all the due process are not followed is what you see, is what you get, you see, or what you see that you get. But if the DSS has done their work, if the relevant committee of the Senate also do their work, and eventually the screening of plenary is done thoroughly, I think we will be able to sidestep the issue of scandal. Well, the president must have looked at their various competencies. I will expect that maybe there will even be a cabinet reshuffle after these people may have been screened and cleared by the Senate. Reshuffling in the sense that if those who are brought to replace those who resigned are not as competent as where those who resigned were posted, the president is at liberty to reshuffle his cabinet and move them to areas of their competence. So that is utterly the discretion at the discretion of Mr. President to post them to where their competencies should lie.
All right, there is also the issue of, the federal character, whether it should be jettisoned.
I think where the issue lies is where the president is making more than one nomination. As we currently see, we have a 43-member cabinet. So the president himself is the petroleum minister, and that apart from the 36, he also appointed additional, in this 6 or 8 persons at his discretion. But, you know, when you appoint people on the basis of job for the boys, or job for the girls, or job for the loyalists, you may not actually get the best. There's nothing wrong with federal character principle. You cannot do away with federal character principle in an heterogeneous and plural society like Nigeria. And that's why the issue of Muslim, Christian ticket is an issue. Otherwise, nobody will care. But because we have fault lines that are widening, because of issue of domination and marginalization as well as discrimination, that's why the Constitution inserted that clause of federal character. And if you read that section of the Constitution, it talks about promotion of public loyalty, unity. So it's about unifying the country. That is why you have federal character principle. But I just hope it will not be abused.
Jide Ojo, their public affairs analyst, giving his thought on the issue of ministerial nominees. Now, you're watching Trust TV News, coming up shortly. The return of olden days kitchen tools. Details and more after the break. Join us again. Thanks for staying with us. Here is a reminder of our top stories again. Troops of Operation Hardin K hands over 2 rescued Chibok girls, 2 children to Borno government. President Buhari departs for Commonwealth meeting in Rwanda. Elsewhere, Kaduna State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, says that the termination of over 2,000 teachers was done to improve the quality of education in the state. The SUBEB chairman, Tijani Abdullahi, told journalists that apart from those who failed tests, other teachers, including the then chairman of the Nigerian Union of Teachers, Kaduna State, and now president of the NUT, were relieved of their appointments. Reacting to the development, the Kaduna State wing of the Nigeria Union of Teachers on Tuesday said the termination is illegal as the court has intervened in the matter and called on government to rescind its decision.
It is concerned about not about sacking people, but about improving the teacher quality. So those who scored below 40% and those who refused to sit for the test, they were all been, their appointments have been terminated because the test we said was compulsory, and those who were encouraging teachers not to sit for the exam, the union, you'll be surprised, many of them sat for the test, but they were misleading their teachers. Don't go and sit for the test, but we have their names. We are going to reveal their names Some of them passed. Some of them refused to take the test. I think the president of the Kaduna wing or something like that.
There was a pending suit number NICN/KD/54/2021 dated 30th November 2021, which the NUT claimed against the State Universal Basic Education Board as one of the defendants, seeking for an order of interlocutory injunction to restrain SUBEB from conducting competency tests, which is now the subject matter of the query and dismissal letters issued to some teachers in the public primary school. SWEC in session called on government to rescind her decision on dismissing of experienced teachers on the basis of competency tests, as it is inimical to the system.
The Sokoto State Governor, Aminu Waziri Tambol, has approved the release of 1 billion naira for the payment of registration fees and upkeep allowances to some indigent students. The Permanent Secretary, Sokoto State Scholarship Board, Alhaji Bello Isa, who stated this while speaking to Trust TV in Sokoto, said the beneficiaries comprised students sponsored by government within and outside the country.
In some days to come, we will be traveling to Turkey, Sudan and Egypt in order to find a suitable institution where these children will be placed for them to continue with their studies. Equally, His Excellency in his wisdom has approved that myself, the Permanent Secretary of the Scholarship Board, and one other official should travel to 3 different countries on facility tour, that is Turkey, Egypt and Sudan. We are directed by His Excellency to go and have a on-the-spot fiscal assessment of the institutions and the facilities in this country.
Old kitchen tools such as grinding stone, coal pot and clay pot, among others, are gradually fading out in many homes as people gradually embrace modern cooking utensils. Despite this paradigm shift, many people still prefer the traditional ones as they can be readily seen in their homes. In this report, our correspondent takes a look at how housewives are returning to the old kitchen utensils amidst the current economic realities.
These utensils belong to the yesteryears and can hardly be found in many homes in the city. Those who use them say they prefer them to modern kitchen utensils. Meanwhile, as modernity takes its toll on these and many others, some housewives in Osun State are returning to old kitchen tools because of high cost of modern utensils. Mrs. Eunice Babalola says she uses grinding stone and clay pot for her cooking, adding that she enjoys them.
In our house, we are still using it because when you use it, when you want to cook, you will know that there is a special taste that you too you will enjoy. Then the way you grind it, you will know that this thing is okay.
Mr. Gwenle Adebi shares his experience of clay pot and grinding stone in the village while growing up.
I know about clay pot because I've lived in the village and where we were using clay pot for cooking. And I know that clay pots, after cooking for 4 or 5 hours, the cook or the soup inside that clay pot will still be hot.
Madam Grace Dari say pepper mashed on the grinding stone and soup cooked with clay pots tastes more natural and are believed to be healthy.
The advantages in using the stone to grind pepper, it makes our pepper to be very, very smooth and is very, very tasteful when you use that the pepper you grind on stone than that of machines.
Although others differ with her stand, there is a general consensus that old kitchen utensils are more affordable and readily available for those who still rely on them.
And away from Nigeria, a powerful earthquake struck a remote border region of Afghanistan overnight, killing at least 920 people and injuring hundreds more. Officials said on Wednesday that the toll is expected to rise as rescuers dig through collapsed dwellings. The 5.9 magnitude quake struck hardest in the rugged terrain of the east, where people already live hard-scrabble lives in a country in the grip of a humanitarian disaster made worse by the Taliban takeover in August. The death toll has climbed steadily all day as news of casualties filtered in from hard-to-reach areas in the mountains, and the country's supreme leader, Hibatullah Akhundzada, warned it will likely rise further. Earlier, a tribal leader from Paktika province, one of the hardest hit areas, said survivors and rescuers were scrambling to help those affected. And in sports news, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the Nigeria Football Federation through the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development to immediately commence the process to conduct elections into its executive committee, with NFF statutes being amended to include other stakeholders who had hitherto been disenfranchised or denied equal representation in the NFF Congress. Adeni Ajishafe has more.
Following the delay in convening the 2021 Nigerian Football Federation Annual General Assembly, which the Executive Committee of Nigerian Football Federation attributed to an interim order of injunction given by the Federal High Court, Bayelsa State Judicial Division, concerned members of the Nigerian Football Federation Congress have convened a meeting in Abuja where they resolved to withdraw the suit to allow room for the Congress to hold. In a communique issued on the lingering crisis, the concerned members, while meeting with the Players Union, whose members are the plaintiff in the suit, resolved to improve the situation in Nigerian football. Chairman, Rivers State Football Association Barrister Chris Green, in a chat with the media, says the plaintiff in the aforementioned suit has agreed to withdraw same from court to pave way for the Executive Committee of the NFF to convene the Emergency General Assembly of the NFF.
The 2021 Nigerian Football Federation Annual General Assembly, which the Executive Committee of the Nigerian Football Federation attributed to the interim order of injunction given by the Federal High Courts in Bayelsa.
Barrister Green noted that the concerned members deem it fit for the development of football in Nigeria by making sure due process is followed, as the suit has been in court for several months with no result.
Well, this is a family. It's a family affair. And we wouldn't say we're docile, but of course, we've been here and making sure that we give every support to those that were put in positions to pilot our affairs. They are kind of in a situation where they need help, and that's what we're here to do. We're now trying to help them to removing that impediment so that we can now pave way for these meetings to hold.
And that's a wrap on Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching.